So, if you were the Ravens general manager, what contract extension would you be comfortable giving Lamar?
So I hate quarterback extensions because in a vacuum, right, I'd be comfortable giving Lamar Jackson like what he asks, and that's probably going to be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. And he showed last year that he can take a less than roster to the playoffs. The Ravens were lacking in a lot of spots last year,
Yep.
and Lamar Jackson took them to the playoffs. Well, his first year in the NFL, like yeah, he didn't throw the ball as well his rookie year, definitely not as well as he's thrown it the last 2 years. But that roster wasn't very good. They were what 4-4 with Joe Flacco, and Lamar Jackson went five.
Something
I want
like
to say
that.
he went 5-1 to get them into
I
the
think
wild
they're
card game.
5-5, and then yeah,
They were 5-5, and he went 5-1. You're correct. Yes. And Lamar Jackson went 5-1 as a rookie, and it was because of his special running that they got to the playoffs. The issue is that, like, it's not just Lamar Jackson, it's any quarterback. Like, you give him the money, right? Like, Deshaun Watson deserved every single penny that the Houston Texans gave him. And obviously, they made a lot of mistakes in other areas, but Deshaun Watson's contract handicaps how they can put a roster around him. And that same thing would happen to Lamar Jackson. So it's complex in the sense that any quarterback, I think, if you give them that if you overpay them, in terms of like giving them that top dollar market money, which even though they deserve, it just becomes difficult. It inhibits you from basically building the kind of roster that you need for them to have the winning success that their legacies and careers deserve. But in terms of paying Lamar Jackson, I mean, this is an MVP. This is a guy who rarely loses. He doesn't have a turnover problem. He's won with less than receivers. He's won with a less than offensive line. He's won with a defense that's been inconsistent at times. Yeah, you can pick out a couple Chiefs games or a Titans game in the playoffs, but the overall body of work with Lamar Jackson is phenomenal. So I'd pay him. I'd make him the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. I really would.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And if you're one of like the 5 to 6, not even 5 to 6, if you're one of the 7 to 8 best at your position, you can basically reset the market. I would put Lamar in there somewhere in that conversation, 6 to 7. We mentioned this previously, but you think of all the other O linemen or running backs or receivers that are at that level of, maybe they're not the best, but they're like top 5. Yeah, they're going to reset the market. Because what are you going to tell your star player? No, we don't think you're as good as this other guy. We're not going to pay you more than him. Why would a GM ever say that? That would be ridiculous, and they probably wouldn't have a job for very long. So I'm with you. They should be comfortable giving Lamar, the money that he deserves, and what he deserves is probably to be the highest paid quarterback in the league. And what I will say, and we've talked about this too, Vish, is like paying quarterbacks, it's kind of hard to construct the team you need to win. Look about that with Aaron Rodgers. You could see that with even Drew Brees early on in the mid 2000s or 2010s when their defense was horrible. You could say that about any of the top paid quarterbacks, and I think the number is like 12%. No quarterback getting more than 12% of the cap has ever won the Super Bowl. Now it's not a magic number that if you have more you're going to not win. Matt Ryan almost did it with like 15%, but the bottom line shows like having a quarterback who's cheaper than the cap or cheaper than others and still performs at that level, or a rookie contract quarterback seems to be better. But I mean, at the end of the day, you're not going to let Lamar Jackson walk for nothing. And so I would undoubtedly sign him. But I guess with Lamar, I would maybe not do like an 8-year contract. I would probably have it be like 4 to 5 years, in the sense that he is a running quarterback. He does take more hits than your Matt Ryan, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, and his body's probably more prone to breaking down than those guys just due to that simple fact. So I would be a little concerned doing the Mahomes like 10-year deal, where you're just basically giving him a key to the city. I would probably do 5 years, and guarantee you can't really guarantee less. Maybe the last year's not as much guaranteed, but yeah, I would be concerned having over like a 6-year contract.
Here's my question to you then. Do you think that the Mahomes tenured contract was a Mahomes specific contract, or do you think that it was, the new trend. Like maybe if we just signed the guy for 10 years, because I thought it was just a Mahomes specific contract because nobody else is.
Yeah.
I seriously doubt anybody else will have the accolades of an MVP, a Super Bowl MVP, undefeated at in the playoffs on the road and all of that with. Or he never played a road playoff game, but only one playoff loss that came off of a D Ford offsides. I think that
Yeah.
nobody else will have that resume for them to deserve that. Just basically, we're going to give you everything because we already know you're the best player in football, and we know you're going to be that for the next 10 years.
Yeah, and I kind of agree with you. I think it will be the Mahomes special. I think even a 10-year contract for him was maybe not the greatest ideas because it's 10 years in one of the most grueling sports where people's bodies break down a lot faster. And I'll compare it to baseball. Like the best baseball players will get like 14, 13-year contracts. And it's like, that is crazy because someone will not be born. And then by the time his contract's up in a year, we'll have like a driver's permit. Like think of all that will happen in that amount of time. That is a lot of time to go by. And in the NFL, that usually doesn't happen. And I think the last few years there's not as much guaranteed, so they can keep restructuring it, and kind of like pushing more money, guaranteed money to the forefront. But yeah, I'd say that's probably more of a Mahomes contract. But I will say this to you: do you think 8 players are going to say, "Hey, look what Mahomes got. Why am I not getting something like that?"
No,
If they want to be
because
the highest paid, because all the top 5 quarterbacks, when their contract's up, they want to be the highest paid.
So I don't think anybody wants to sign a 10-year contract either, because there's ways to be the highest, get more money than Mahomes
That's true.
on a year-to-year basis than sign a 10-year contract. Because the idea is that you want to sign as many contracts as possible because you want as many signing bonuses as possible and you want as much guaranteed money as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not going to have a Kirk Cousins situation where you get a fully guaranteed contract. So that guaranteed money is going to dry out at some point. But if you sign like what Dak Prescott did, one of the things that was up for debate allegedly with Dak Prescott's contract is Dallas wanted to sign him to a 6-year deal. Dak Prescott wanted a 4-year deal because he wanted to re-up again when he was 31, 32 and try to hit goal one more time.
Right.
So because of that, I don't think anybody ever will ask for Mahomes' deal, because I think Mahomes realized that Kansas City is the best spot for him and all of that. And from that standpoint, like I don't think any other quarterback's been supported and put in as ideal a situation as Patrick Mahomes, where they look at it and say, I want to be here for 10 years. Like, yeah, Matthew Stafford signed a franchise contract. No offense, Don Burr. I don't think he wanted to sign a 10-year contract to put himself in Detroit for 10 years. Come on.
Probably not. They do have great pizza, but yeah, I mean, besides like just thinking of the team, probably not the best supporting cast over the past decade if he was there for that long. So yeah, I'm with you. And I think the thing that's true on that, or that you kind of can drive home, is like if Lamar, I don't even know how old he is, what, like 23, 24, say he signs a 4-year deal and he turns 28, that could potentially be the prime of his career. And imagine he hits the open market when he's 28. I mean, he will get obviously the next highest paid contract, which will be more. So yeah, maybe it's probably a Mahomes special that contract was, and Lamar's not going to get that. But I'd imagine like the average annual amount will probably be maybe a little less, honestly. But we'll see.